Today, WHO has published its new strategy and budget for the ACT Accelerator in 2021. So far, $11 billion have been committed to the ACT Accelerator, but we still face a funding gap of $22.1 billion. The longer this gap goes unmet, the harder it is to understand why, given it's a tiny fraction of the more than $13 trillion the IMF estimates that high-income countries have spent on fiscal stimulus to date. We urge countries to fully finance the ACT Accelerator as the best investment in the global recovery. Today, WHO gave emergency use listing to Johnson & Johnson's COVID-19 vaccine, making it the fourth vaccine to receive WHO's approval. Emergency use listing is the green light for a vaccine to be procured and rolled out by COVAX. As you know, the J&J vaccine is the first to be listed as a single-dose regime. WHO will convene its strategic advisory group on immunization experts next week to formulate recommendations on the use of this vaccine. As new vaccines become available, we must ensure they become part of the global solution and not another reason some countries and people are left further behind. We hope that this new vaccine will help to narrow vaccine inequalities and not deepen them. The COVAX facility has booked 500 million doses of the J&J vaccine, and we look forward to receiving them as soon as possible. Health workers and older people all around the world need this vaccine. COVAX is ready to deliver it, and countries are ready to roll it out. In total, COVAX has now delivered almost 30 million doses of vaccine to 38 countries. Globally, 335 million doses of vaccine have been administered in 144 economies. 76% of those are in 10 countries. The inequitable distribution of vaccines remains the biggest threat to ending the pandemic and driving a global recovery. As I said last week, one of the major challenges we need to solve is how to dramatically increase production of vaccines. This week, WHO and our COVAX partners met with industry representatives and other stakeholders to identify issues and solutions. Manufacturing any vaccine requires a lot of supplies, including glass vials and plastic filters and the raw materials needed to make them. The sudden increase in demand for vaccine production has led to a shortage of this and other supplies, which is limiting the production of vaccines for COVID-19 and could put the supply of routine childhood vaccines at risk. Some countries have imposed legal restrictions on the export of critical supplies. This is putting lives at risk around the world. We call on all countries not to stockpile supplies that are needed urgently to ramp up production of vaccines. In a global pandemic, no country can go it alone. We're all interdependent, and no country can simply vaccinate its way out of this pandemic. We cannot end the pandemic anywhere unless we end it everywhere.